Hello from gardening at Douentza, and I'm here at Kew Gardens today where we're about to get a behind the scenes look at the fantastic Caudex collection they have. You are about to see some rare and wonderful oddities from the plant world, so stay tuned. We are now entering the world of Caudex, or fat-bottomed plants, one of the hottest trends among plant collectors at the moment. Now, I guess we'd better start with a loose definition of what this means. The term Caudex, or caudiciform, is used to describe a number of botanically unrelated plants. But all of these plants have a swollen base at the junction of stem and root, and a handsome structure that sits proud of the soil. We're now entering the tropical grow room at Kew, and that plant over there, yeah, that's the one that beckons to me. It says, "Come over, take a look at me." And actually, it's a very good place to start with an introduction to caudiciform plants. So this is an Emilia, and yeah, it's a plant in the sweet potato or the morning glory family, but it has many of the traits we see among typical Caudex plants. It has a large bulbous structure used to store water in times of drought, and it's deciduous, so only the structure itself shows in winter. And here's a fun fact. Many Caudex plants are dioecious. Now that means that individual plants are either male or female. The next lot of Caudex plants to grab my attention is right here, and these are actually Pelargoniums. So this is the Pelargonium known as Old Man Live Forever, and some of you may remember that I've got one in my collection in the greenhouse back home. Now this plant comes from St. Helena Island, which is off Africa, and it grows a thickened trunk which takes on quite a bonsai appearance over time. How really lucky we are to see so many different specimens all together in the one place. We can really appreciate their gnarled trunks. Each one is a quirky individual. Also here at Kew you can see the two distinct varieties. Can you spot which of these plants are the hairy-leafed variety? This fabulous looking plant is called Douentza gigas, and it's in the mulberry family. So see what I mean about Caudex plants being from lots of different botanically unrelated families. Now this gem comes from the botanically rich Socotra Island, which is off the Horn of Africa. Now we're looking at a tree which is actually a Caudex plant. It's a Pachypodium, and this whole fascinating genus comes from the island of Madagascar. So this tree has a Caudex trunk, and it comes from a very inhospitable environment where it's developed two clever techniques to deal with what it finds around it: water storing in its trunk and spines. So the trunks have become so specialised that they have photosynthetic surface tissues, and this allows nutrient absorption even without leaves. I really can't tell you how excited I am to finally get to see this rare bulb in reality. This plant is a living fossil, the stuff of legend, and it's called that for many reasons, one of which is the fact that it's the only one in its whole plant family. So Welwitschia comes from the desert between South Africa and Angola, and a single specimen can last for, wait for it, 2,000 years. Another bizarre thing about Welwitschia is that Each plant only ever produces 2 leaves, and these shred and divide and weather as time goes on. Now, can you imagine if the hair on your head, the hair that you're born with, had to last a lifetime? And now imagine that that lifetime is going to be 2,000 years. I can tell you that this plant has really shot up on my wish list. I have to get my hands on seed, or, well, if I could get an actual plant, I just have to get this one in my collection. And here we have some more South African bulbs, and this time it's the bouffon, or the Sorai plant. So this poisonous plant is supposed to give you sore eyes when it's in bloom, but I didn't find it to be the case. And now, perhaps the best known Caudex plant of them all, the elephant's foot. These split caudices ooze character. It's often described as a tortoise shell with a vine growing out of the top of it. And I can't help think that the inspiration for certain Pokemon must have come from this plant. And now I'm delighted to show you one of the most bizarre plants in the whole of the Caudex world. It's called the ant plant because ants actually live in its hollow internal chambers. And there's a symbiotic relationship between insect and plant. And the way it works is that the plant provides a safe house up high in the tree canopy for the ants. And the insects in turn feed the plant. So they do this by placing dead matter in certain internal chambers, and the plant absorbs this soup over time. But it never absorbs anything from the other chambers, the ones where the ants actually live. And another strange fact that really struck me was how the ants select which food they should put in these chambers for the plant to eat. They select things that are particularly nutritious to the plant. For example, the heads of dead ants rather than other body parts. How do they know? And finally, do you see those little holes in the Caudex structure? Now, those are formed by the plant naturally. Nobody really knows why, perhaps to aerate its internal structure, but they make really handy doors for the ants to go in and go out. Again, how do these things come about? So that brings us to the end of this introduction to Caudex plants from Kew Gardens. I hope you've enjoyed seeing Kew's fabulous collection from behind the scenes. Many thanks to Kew for allowing me to film, and especially to Alberto for bringing me around. Check back soon for more videos from behind the scenes at Kew. Oh, and if you're looking for a Christmas present at this stage, perhaps you'd like to support the channel by buying a copy of my book, Journal of an Irish Garden, or some of my merchandise. Links in the video description. Thanks, and bye for now.